I set myself a challenge to watch every single episode of Doctor Who ever made, from 1963 right up until the modern era, and do it all in 1 year, a time frame which is looking increasingly unlikely I'm going to meet. So far we are this far through the 5th Doctor's era, and this far through the show overall, and if you think this number looks like it's gone back a bit, you're right, it's because we're counting spin-offs now. There's apparently a ton of them. Picking up where Logopolis left off, the new 5th Doctor is struggling a bit with his regeneration. Basically, it all boils down to this whole universe thing being a bit too much for him. The new 5th Doctor is a bit of a snowflake and needs his safe space, so he retreats to the Zero Room on the TARDIS, which is supposed to isolate you from the outside universe. But that's not enough for him, so he builds himself a coffin and has Nyssa and Tegan carry him around in it. Nyssa and Tegan wonder to themselves whether this man that they've just met is the same man that they'd just met, as they are forced to pallbearer him up a cliff to Castrovalva, the most relaxing M.C. Escher painting in the universe. There the Doctor should be able to recover from his regeneration, but unfortunately it turns out that Castrovalva was a trap set by the Master. The Doctor and crew are able to escape Castrovalva just before it collapses in on itself, leaving the Master trapped forever. Trying to take Tegan back to Heathrow 1981, the Doctor instead lands the TARDIS on a spaceship 4 days from reaching Earth. The captain of the ship, Monarch, is a talking frog who seeks to wipe out all life on Earth so he can colonize it with his own species, whose world has been destroyed. Failing that, he wants to travel back in time to the Big Bang to meet God, who he believes will be himself. This pinnacle of sanity is exactly the kind of charismatic character who can win over Adric, who betrays the Doctor, Nyssa and Tegan to Monarch. This is, of course, a terrible idea. The Doctor is eventually able to convince Adric that Monarch is cuckoo banana puffs, but not before he has to take a spacewalk without a spacesuit and use a cricket ball as a jetpack. Trying to take Tegan back to Heathrow 1981, the Doctor instead lands the TARDIS on Deva Loka, where a peaceful, primitive people live an Eden-like existence. The Kinder are a simple people who know not to fall asleep under wind chimes, but unfortunately Tegan doesn't, so she gets possessed by the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube Mara, wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube Mara, wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube Mara. The Doctor is able to rescue Tegan and defeat the Mara by surrounding it with mirrors so it can see how unconvincing its model is. Trying to take Tegan back to Heathrow 1981, the Doctor instead lands the TARDIS in the correct spot for once, only in 1666, where the Pteroleptals are using a robot Grim Reaper to terrorize a village. This is only a prelude to their real plan, however, which is to wipe out humanity with a plague. Luckily, there's already a plague going on, so they can take that one and make it gourmet. The Doctor is able to stop their plan by burning down their headquarters, situated in Pudding Lane, London. We did it, Doctor. We saved the city. A rare one for Doctor Who, as this is a historical story that features no sci-fi elements or aliens of any kind. I mean, except for the Doctor, obviously, and Nyssa, since she's from Traken, and Adric, who's from Alzarius, and technically a Marshman, I guess, now that I think about it. But anyway, this is a simple murder mystery that builds on the time-honoured Doctor Who tradition of, isn't it crazy that these two people just happen to have the exact same face? At some point, I'm going to have to look into why there are so many doppelgangers in the Doctor Who universe. Things are not looking good for Earth of the future as the Cybermen are poised to invade. They look even worse when the Cybermen take their ship back in time and turn it into the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Adric decides to betray the Doctor and side with the dinosaurs against the human. He attempts to stop the ship so that the dinosaurs will be safe, but fortunately he fails, and Adric leaves the TARDIS to start his new life as an Alzarian pancake. Trying to take their minds off how lucky they are to finally be free of Adric, the Doctor tries to take Nyssa and Tegan to the Great Exhibition in 1851, but instead lands the TARDIS in Heathrow Airport 1982. There the Doctor is almost arrested before remembering that he technically works for UNIT and should be informed of all weird goings on. And luckily this airport has some weird goings on. All of its planes keep disappearing back in time. Following one of the vanishing planes back in time with the TARDIS, the Doctor finds that they've been sent back to the Jurassic period by an Oriental mystic called Khalid, who studied magic in the deserts of Arabia. But Khalid is not what he seems. It turns out it's in fact the Master in disguise, who had escaped from the MC Escher world of Castrovalva but ended up stranded in prehistoric Earth, so he set about building himself a racially inappropriate disguise so that he could steal planes from the future and use their crews to dig up a power source for his TARDIS. It's worth noting that the disguise doesn't actually do anything to help with this plan. There is no one in prehistoric Earth to be fooled by it. He barely even keeps it up once the Doctor shows up. The Master was just alone in the past, and his Wilson the football was racist makeup. I wonder how much time he spent trying to repair his TARDIS, and how much he spent building this and practicing his cod Chinese accent. Anyway, the Doctor manages to defeat him and rescue the lost plane crews, taking them back to 1982. Then, knowing that Tegan is happily where she wanted to be, but not actually checking that or saying goodbye, the Doctor and Nyssa head off in the TARDIS, leaving Tegan behind to live a happy and fulfilling life. That's it for Season 19. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I'll see you for Season 20.